Welcome back. Now, those who know better say you are what you eat, and to help us make healthier choices, Be Well Foods has collaborated with the Cancer Association of South Africa to create the Smart Choice Cookbook. It's packed with cancer-preventing recipes. Nutrition consultant at the association, Megan Pence-Clates, joins me to tell us more. Good evening to you, Megan. Thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight. I'm very interested to unpack this conversation and to dive into the studies and how it's been decided or what's been shown that there are specific foods that you can consume that will in fact reduce your chances of getting cancer.
Hi, Abigail. Thank you so much. Yes, that's quite correct. In actual fact, there's quite a few foods that has been shown to help to reduce the risk of cancer. So we're quite excited to have been able to put something like this together, where I've really ensured those types of foods are part of the recipe book and helping people to incorporate them quite simply into their daily diets.
So let's chat about what some of these food items are that could potentially reduce your risk of contracting cancer.
Yeah, sure. So just to give it a good start, they usually are your plant foods. So if we look at that in a little bit more detail, you're first going to look at your vegetables. And I think it's important that even today, the evidence does show that we should aim for a minimum of 3 cups of raw vegetables a day. And when it comes to fruit, we should try for whole fruits and at least 2 fruits a day. So that can be frozen fruits, it can be fresh fruits, but that's really what we're aiming for. Then we move into whole grains. So whole grains have also been shown to be very beneficial, and that incorporates things like from your oats to your oat bran, for example. And then we start looking at our legumes. Legumes are really very good to incorporate into your daily diet and have shown to be very beneficial. Particularly now, remember that all these different foods have been shown and earmarked with different types of cancers, but cancer per se. And then, of course, looking at things like in terms of our fats. So you start looking at nuts and seeds, and then our different types of oils that we also have incorporated into the recipe book, knowing that certain oils actually have more of a anti-inflammatory effect. So when you start incorporating more of these foods into your daily diet, you then actually have got a diet that looks at really reducing the risk of cancer.
And Megan, if there are then foods that can possibly reduce the risk, are there foods that increase the risk that we should be actively avoiding?
Yes, absolutely. So those really we start looking at, and it's really very also often quantity based. Now, in terms of those foods, firstly, we go into our animal products. So we all eat meat and chicken and fish, or many of us do. Very, very importantly is we want to ensure that we concentrate on the amount of meat that we eat. And not only that, but also how we prepare it, knowing that certain of our preparation methods, and I know the South Africans are immediately going to sit up and look at me, is our brine is not the best method. But let me give you a small tip. The one thing that's important here is to look at your quantity of red meat. So in saying that, the recommendations internationally, also in terms of cancer, is not more than 500 grams raw of red meat a week. And people always ask me, does that include things like pork? Yes, it does. And very importantly as well is if you're going to have a braai, ensure you incorporate a really good big salad, because that helps to reduce and vegetables, the actual effect it might have on your colon. Then, of course, we've got the foods that are, that very often are refined. And refined foods and foods that we call it actually ultra processed, where they've removed a lot of the fiber, but they've added in certain fats and they've added in a lot of sugar. So it's a very high energy type of food. And the person can immediately see those are very often more your packaged foods and also your takeaway foods. And
Yeah.
that in itself is important. And then the frying. The frying of foods
Megan, I
is
want to
so
talk
with
about the
that high.
cookbook and just, where it's available, how it's accessed, but also this is not just another cookbook. It is actually somewhat of a resource pack. Talk us through that.
Yes. So every time I put a recipe together, what I did do was give tips and hints on why these foods are important. I also tried to do it in a very simple way, incorporating regular eating habits, which incorporates different breakfast options, lunches, lunch boxes, dinners, and also treats and something nice and to eat, but always incorporating more plant foods and looking very importantly at what many of us look at today is, we have to consider things like cost. So simple for the busy family, and this is also an important one. The whole family can eat like this.
Yeah,
And using this as a good basis for everyone.
100%. So where do we access the cookbook? How do we get our hands on it, Megan?
Okay, fantastic. So you can go to two of us because we actually collaborated. So you can go onto the Be Well website and you can download it there. By the way, it is actually free. You can also go through the cancer website, which is the cancer.org.za, and you can then they'll ask you just for your email. It'll be sent to your email address, and you can download it as a PDF, and it's yours to use. And we obviously would love to hear your feedback on it as well.
Fantastic. Megan, thank you very much for your time, for all of the research that you've done and that you've put into this project. I'm definitely going to be downloading it because, I need to start eating healthier as well. I mean, summer is upon us. It's not going to make any difference now, but I'm planning ahead for next year as well. So thank you very much for your time. We really do appreciate it. That was Megan Pence-Clates, cancer nutrition and dietetics consultant, just chatting to us about this brand new cookbook that is available with various meal options, and all of the ingredients will help reduce the risk of cancer. A very interesting conversation there. But moving on.